want to just address something about that Pearl Davis interview because it's getting these reactions. I didn't mean to debate Pearl, and I didn't mean to change her mind. As I told her at the time, I agree with a lot of the situational things she's saying. And I was just kind of appalled. There was this reaction online. Some people saying I had really beaten up on her. I really destroyed her. And some people saying, oh, she had really destroyed me. And that, I'm sorry, it's not what I do. I respect and admire Shapiro for his debating talents and skills, but I want to hear what people say. I'm a novelist. I want to know what people are thinking. And I'm not trying to win a conversation. When I have a conversation, I just want to know what the person is doing. I can always hear what I have to say. I want to know what other people are doing. It's not a battle. It's a conversation. And it's also not fair for me to have someone on and then attack her after she's gone, like continue arguing with her after she's gone. That's ridiculous. So my one criticism, the one thing that I found frustrating was I felt, and I said it to her face, or I wouldn't say it now. I said, you can see it on the video. I felt she wasn't owning up to what she was saying. That, when you say, somebody compared it to you're about to jump out of a plane, and somebody says, 99% of people whose parachutes don't open die. There's something implied by that. There are implied things you're saying. And I felt she wouldn't stand still and do that. And listen, I like her. She's a troublemaker. We need troublemakers. And I've said before, but way before there was Pearl, and before she was an influencer at all, you can go back and see an interview I did with Liz Wheeler where I said to Liz, why should men get married? If feminists are not going to make a home for them, that's what men get out of marriage mostly. They get a home and children, someone to take care of their children, someone to give them a place to be and to make them civilized human beings and give them responsibilities. Why, if feminist wives are not going to do that, why get married? And Liz just basically gave me a religious answer saying, well, it's a model of Christ in the church and all that stuff. But I don't think that's why people get married. I'm sorry, if that's impious, but it's not what happens. So I think you should own your own outlook. And I got a little frustrated with Pearl, I think, and I feel bad about that because I didn't mean to debate her. I just wanted to hear what she was saying, and I felt that she kept disappearing. And I wasn't trying even to talk about my point of view. I was just trying to get her point of view out of her. So instead of complaining about that, because I'll invite her back again, and hopefully we'll do it better than we did. But instead of complaining about that, I want to give my point of view. I want to do what I'm talking about. I want to own my point of view because I also have problems with the way conservatives, including my pals here at the Daily Wire, with the way we talk about marriage. We tend to say, do this, that, and the other, and things will get better. And there's some truth to that, but it is also true that society and culture have changed so much that it has created a hostile environment to those efforts. And, I had this wonderful talk with Ben on his show. I can't remember what it's called, The Secret. I can't remember what his show was called. We had a long conversation. And at one point, Ben said, I feel that I follow my duty and my duty leads me to love. And I said, gee, I've always lived exactly the other way around. I follow the love and the love teaches me my duty. And that in some ways is very much a Jew versus Christian point of view. And I think you both get to the same point. But in Ephesians, we often like to talk about Ephesians where it says a woman should submit to the authority of her husband as if he were a representative of Christ, and the husband should love his wife as if she were his own body, the way Christ loves the church. So you nourish and protect your own body. And the thing about that is the happiest people I know, the happiest marriages I know, happiest people I know are married. The happiest people I know have a marriage that looks like Ephesians. But I don't know if they did that by rule, if they said this is the way we're going to live, or simply that's what love looks like between a man and a woman. It happens very naturally. It's not a question of bullying. Of course, you don't want to be a domineering. I love my wife. I don't want to beat her up or boss her around. But it does come to me that to be the leader of the family in that regard. And it's just something that kind of flows. But maybe what Paul was saying in that is that if you fake it, you should fake it till you make it. You should act that way until you flow into that natural love. So I look at the Daily Wire, all these different guys. We're very different. We're friends, but we're very different. And they all have good marriages. They all have solid marriages. And I hear people say, well, that doesn't reflect society. And I think, well, do you want to be like us and have a good marriage and be one of the happy people in life? Or do you want to be part of society? And I understand the society is hostile. It is open. One of the things about this is you start to see the same sicknesses in moments like this, where this moment of big transition, you start to see the same sicknesses on left and right. You have the left anti-Semitism, you have the right anti-Semitism, you have the left people attacking marriage because they want women in the workplace, because that's what Karl Marx said. You've got to destroy the home in order to get the power where it belongs. And on the right, you have the anti-Semites because they think that somehow, Christianity needs for them to hate Jesus' religion. So I look at all these different guys, and they all have good marriages. And I think, what's the catch? Well, there's this video making the rounds of sorority girls dancing in a gas station, I think in Austin, Texas. Let's play a little bit. They're dancing to rap music. Just play a couple of seconds of this.
So everyone, you so go ahead and join in with them ladies.
So on X, some conservative said something like, "This is why men don't like Western women." And then, of course, everybody's going, "Well, what's wrong? They're just dancing. They're innocent. They're all this stuff. What's the harm?" And others were saying, "No, it's all sexualized, and rap music sucks," which obviously that's true. But here's the thing. It's possible for these girls to be doing nothing wrong in our culture, but also for them to be demonstrating what the problem is. I don't condemn them for what they're doing. There's nothing in our culture that says they shouldn't be doing it, but they're not behaving like ladies. That's the thing. They are not behaving like ladies. Ladies contain themselves. If ladies clown around, they do it among themselves, not out on video, with everybody watching. They don't listen to songs with filthy words in them. They don't use filthy words in them. I'm not talking about Downton Abbey. I'm not talking about they should be walking around, Lady Rutherford Furthington the Seventh. That's not what I'm talking about. We're Americans. We're much more loose and good. But still, women, I always say that women shouldn't curse because most curse words dehumanize the body. They're meant to do that. They're meant to dehumanize the body. When you use the F word, you're talking about sex as if it were an animal act instead of a spiritual act. And I think women are the ones who pay the price for that. And that's why I think women should be careful about the language they use. But when I look at the Daily Wire, all these different people, what unites us is we're all married to ladies. And that's helped us become gentlemen, I think. And so the question for me is not marriage or not marriage. Because first of all, that's about how your life goes. Do you meet the right person? Can you afford to do it? Do you think you can do it? Have you got the right mindset for it? But it's really, the question for me is, what do you want to be? What do you want to be like? Because, see, the male-female nexus, the connection between men and women, can't be separated to one side. Oh, if women would only do this, then men would do this. If men would only do this, then women would do this. Women won't be ladies if men aren't gentlemen, and men won't be gentlemen if women aren't ladies. Why should they be? Why should men restrain the way they talk in front of women if women don't restrain the way they talk in front of men, and vice versa? There's no way to disconnect this. And a lot of conservative men, they say they want a trad girl, but they don't want to play by the trad rules. And I'm not talking about that make-believe trad where they dress up like it's, Betty Crocker. I'm talking about, they say things like, they talk about, oh, they're simps and alpha males. I don't think the people who talk like that know what an alpha male is. Let me just show you. I brought in like 3 scenes from 3 different movies. I'm just going to play one. This is from the Iger Sanction with Clint Eastwood, where he plays a kind of prototype for Indiana Jones. He's a professor who's an adventurer. This is cut 10, and he's a professor, and a woman comes in trying to get good grades from him.
Dr. Hanlock, I just want to tell you how much I've really enjoyed your course. I've never felt this close to art before.
How nice.
But I have a problem.
How terrible.
Yeah, well, you see, if I don't keep my B average, I'm going to lose my scholarship. And I really don't think I'm going to do so well in your final exam. I mean, I've gained a whole new feeling about art, but, well, sometimes you can't always put your true feelings down on paper.
How true.
If there was anything I could do to get a better grade, I mean, I'd be willing to do anything. Anything at all, really.
Do you realize the implications of that offer? Are you busy this evening?
No.
You live alone?
Well, my roommate's gone for the week.
Good. Ed, go on home. Break out the books and study your little ass off.
Now, I could show you a lot of movies from the old days when alpha males acted like that. Because the first thing, we always talk about an alpha male is dominant. The first thing an alpha male dominates is himself. and his urges and his desires, and he acts in a way that is moral. When I look at the people that people call alpha males now, I see slobs. So you've got to decide, how do you want to live? And that's the life that will lead you into a good marriage. And all the statistics don't mean a damn thing at that point. If you're not living that way, it's still a risk. But if you want that life where you get a home, where you get some progeny, where you get to leave behind a legacy of human beings, if you want to become a man, who one of the things a man is a father, by the way, a husband and a father, you got to start with yourself. And that's true of women too. And that's the only thing that I think that overrides everything else, because you are living your life. You're not living in the numbers, you're living your life. And so that's my point of view. Garbage in, garbage out. Our culture is garbage. Don't let it in. For more sensationally great content, like and subscribe. And don't forget to subscribe to The Andrew Klavan Show wherever you get your podcasts.